How can you make habit change easy, fun, and get rid of the overwhelm? Well, I am Gina from Gina Dallison Coaching. Have hope, feel better. And today we're going to be discussing exactly that, how we can change our habits. Because many of us realize what we should be doing. The little habits that if we make consistently over time is going to make a big difference to the trajectory of our lives. Yet many of us still stay in our old negative habits that keep us down, keep us ill, keep us miserable. So how can we change our habits? So I'm going to share with you some ideas that you can incorporate. And I've got 7 steps actually that you can follow, but they're underpinned with one really key step. And this is having compassion with yourself. You are not going to change a massive great shift overnight. We've all probably tried that New Year's, new you, when you're going to change everything. You're going to give up sugar. You're going to give up alcohol. You're going to go to the gym every day. You're going to fit in your 10,000 steps or whatever it is. And then by the end of day one, you're exhausted just with the thought of it all. That is because we are so ingrained. There's a reason why our habits become our habits. And that's because they're going on the subconscious. What that means is we don't consciously have to think about it in order to do it. So our habits come along with either there'll be a trigger. The trigger might be you wake up. The trigger might be you get tired. The trigger might be somebody upsets you. And whatever that trigger is then going to cause an emotional reaction within yourself that you then reach for whatever course of action, whatever behavior that you're going to. So, for example, if somebody pees you off, the first course of action might be when you feel that discomfort in your body is that, oh gosh, just going to have a coffee and a cake. Sod it then. I'm just going to have a bar of chocolate. I'm just going to sit and binge watch whatever I'm going to binge watch. I'm just going to scroll through my phone and see if I can get some inspiration. And how can we change these habits that in the short term give us a little dopamine hit, make us feel a bit better in that moment, but over the course of time is not doing us any good. So the fact that we might reach for a chocolate bar when we feel tired or upset makes us feel better in that moment. That little bar of chocolate, that big bar of chocolate feels good as you're eating it, but then it doesn't. Then it has the knock-on effects of the guilt that you give yourself, beating yourself up. Oh, I've done that thing again. And also the fact that your body's complaining a little bit because actually it doesn't actually do much good for you at all. So the first thing around habit change is to acknowledging that actually where you are right now is the perfect place to be, because this is your starting point. And if you're going to embark in a habit change process, start small. Don't start with, I'm going to give up sugar, I'm never going to have chocolate again. How can you break that down to actually, I'm going to not eat chocolate? Let's use that as a bit of an example. So start small, those micro habits. So it might be that you cut down on your chocolate. It might be that you find something else that gives you a sweet little nugget of some, because what it's worth thinking about what it is that the chocolate is giving you. And it almost feels like a hug, doesn't it? It almost feels like I go for a hot drink. I quite like a hot drink because it just makes you feel nice. A coffee or a hot chocolate just makes you feel good, feel like you're hugged. Maybe it's memories back from when you were a little girl or a little boy, when you were given a bit of chocolate or a cookie or a hot chocolate to soothe yourself when some things had gone bad. So a lot of our triggers come from our childhood and things that we've incorporated into our psyche to think them as true, even though we're not consciously aware of them. So small little steps, and also bringing it up into the conscious and recognizing, oh, there is a trigger there. I eat chocolate when I'm feeling off, when something's upset me. That is my trigger. So what can you put in place to stop you reaching for the chocolate? So the subconscious programming doesn't take over and your conscious mind is a little bit, hey, we didn't want to do chocolate on this occasion. We're going to do something different. But that takes conscious effort. So what we can do, several things that we can do. And I think one of the, certainly what I found in my habitual change over the last 7 years, and I've done a lot, but there've been little steps. I've not changed. When I look at my life now and what I reach to when I get triggered, it's very, very different to it was 7 years ago. Is it perfect? No, because I'm still on the journey. I'm still making little steps. I still reach for the chocolate sometimes. I still reach for the hot drink, but I've changed my hot drink. So one thing you can do is environment. I'm just going to make a note if that's what I've told you. Yeah, change your environment. So what that means is don't have chocolate in the house. Don't go and buy the chocolate. So when you're feeling strong and full of willpower, and willpower's only got like and it's not an infinite supply. When you go shopping, make sure you go shopping, one, when you're not hungry, two, when you've not been triggered or anything, and three, when you're full of that willpower and actually, yes, I'm going to buy some healthy alternatives. So when I'm feeling triggered, instead of going to get the chocolate, I'm going to make myself a my what's come into my head would be my healthy chocolate brownies. They do take a bit of effort to make, but you can freeze them, and then you've got some in the fridge. Should you suddenly feel tired or triggered, you've got something that you can reach to. Or what else can you do? So I know when I was on the journey of giving up smoking cannabis, then I really had to make a conscious, because I was really using it as an emotional crutch. Every time I felt a little bit off or a little bit down, joint would be my preferred band-aid. I also was using it if I was feeling a bit tired, and it almost gave me permission to relax. So what I did then was give myself permission to relax. Oh, I'm feeling tired. Rather than go and light a joint and sit down for half an hour, why don't I just sit down for half an hour? I've now got my Shakti mat. So I now lie on my Shakti mat for however long that I've got. And I find that gives me a similar, it's not quite the same, of course, but it's a lot healthier way of calming my body, getting myself out of overwhelm, which was quite often the case when I reached that joint, too much going on, and I didn't know where to start. So there are a few things that you can do, small little things. Get the environment right. So set up your environment so you're not able to reach for the chocolate bar. There's no chocolate in the house. So if you really, really want a chocolate bar, you've got to go down the shop and get one. And that makes you think a lot more consciously. Does that mean you never go down the shop and get a chocolate bar? No, no. And there might be somebody come in with a chocolate bar. One of my triggers is somebody offers it you, and I'm still working on that one. I'm still working on that one. And the first thing that I said was be compassionate with yourself. So give yourself some positive self-talk. Do not beat yourself up just because you've gone back to your old habit. Give yourself some love. If you were coaching your best friend or your child on how to change their habits, would you be beating them up and telling them off every time they relapsed and went back? Maybe sometimes, if it's like, really, again, how many times are you going to relapse? And then maybe it's worth digging a little bit deeper. If you're still relapsing, you're still going back, oh, I accidentally went down the chocolate aisle and bought a load of chocolate, and now our fridge is full of chocolate, so therefore my environment is screwed already. That is your subconscious at play saying, I don't want to change. You carry on eating the chocolate. You deserve the chocolate. You've had a hard time. That person was really horrible to you. You're tired. You've got to get the sugar hit. Whatever stuff your mind comes up telling you that you need to carry on with your old habits, that is because your subconscious is at play, not wanting you to up level. So recognize it, thank it, be appreciative of it there because it's got you to where you are now, and then be really honest and say you want to move up. You want to move up a level. And if that means writing down, journaling about what it is that you're afraid of, maybe that if you stop eating chocolate, what might happen to you, then write it down, write it out, journal it out, and just track your progress. Track your progress and celebrate that actually you've got through a whole day and you didn't eat chocolate. Woo, woo, woo. Tomorrow's another day and you start again. You got through the whole morning. Maybe it's sleep. Maybe it's the evening times when you like to have a little munch when you're watching a movie or relaxing at the end of the day. Have a look at where your triggers are. And if you need some help with this is where having a coach is really helpful. And the other thing that you can do is get yourself an accountability, get an accountability buddy. That's get an accountability buddy. Somebody else is doing something similar to you, so you can help each other on your journey. Just be careful though, that if they then relapse, they might persuade you to relapse as well, because it always feels better, especially when it's eating things. Eating cake with somebody is always much more pleasurable than eating it by yourself, don't you find? Because yeah, you don't feel quite as guilty. You can talk each other into it as well as out of it. So be aware of that and choose your accountability buddy very wisely. The other thing you can do, of course, is show up in the Healing Vibrations Network. And if you would like some help with staying accountable to your habit changes or your habit potential changes, what is it that you would like to change? Why? Get deep on your why. So several things there that I've talked about. Small little steps. Get your environment in a right place. Make it sociable. Get an accountability buddy. Share it in the group. Say what you're doing. But then don't, if you relapse and you've just had a bad day and you've eaten a giant bar of chocolate, be honest. Say it. Nobody is going to beat you up more than you beat yourself up. And once you say it and it's out there, I did that thing. Okay, tomorrow is another day. Just keep going with it. And if anybody is in the Healing Vibrations Network, you will see I'm a bit like that with my celebration challenge. It was meant to be an everyday thing and it hasn't been an everyday thing. But does that mean I'm going to stop celebrating? Absolutely not. Just start again when you remember. Pick it up. Oh my goodness. I've just allowed myself to fall back into the having a chocolate bar every day routine just because it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon and I'm feeling a bit tired. That was used to be one of my things when I was at work. It isn't my thing anymore. So you can change. It is possible. It always is possible. Trust that it's possible. Get deep on your why. Know your why. And then keep that close to your heart. Be super, super kind to yourself and have fun with it. Just decide, I'm going to make this fun. How can I make this fun? How can I make not eating chocolate fun? What can I have instead? Let's start exploring those triggers and just, again, no judgment. There's no judgment here. This isn't about beating yourself up and judging yourself. This is about being curious and noticing, developing that self-awareness. Once we have an awareness, we can start making changes. Then we can get a little bit deeper and think, well, what is it I believe about eating the chocolate? Why do I believe that's going to make me feel better? Does it really make me feel better? How does it make me feel better? Again, with curiosity, not with judgment, and see where it takes you. So, are you ready to make some tiny little macro steps towards changing the habits, changing your habits and turning them into those small little things that you can do today consistently that over time will make a big, big difference? If you change your 4 o'clock chocolate habit, for example, to a 4 o'clock lie on your Shakti mat, or 4 o'clock sit and contemplate for 10 minutes habit, just watch what difference it makes. Notice what difference it makes. Intend to look out for some positive consequences and see them and mark them and celebrate them. And if you fall off the wagon, give yourself a break. Celebrate for noticing that you've fallen off the wagon. Give yourself a helping hand and get back up again and say, hey, tomorrow is another day. If you have any questions, any comments, any suggestions around how to make habit change fun and enjoyable without the overwhelm, then come and chat with me. You will find me on the Healing Vibrations Network Facebook group, also on YouTube, on Facebook, on LinkedIn. Come and have a chat and I will help you get into a place, clear out your environment, that you can actually start making steps towards who you really want to be in your health and your happiness. So this is Gina from Gina Dallison Coaching. Have hope, feel better.